Chancellor to come on the stage and have a seat. Before we delve into the heart of today's program, I would like to start the program with a poem of World Mental Health Program. Today we celebrate World Mental Health Awareness Day, a day to raise awareness and speak out loud. Mental health is just as important as physical health, but it's often overlooked and filled with stealth. Depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, there are just few of the conditions that bother. Our mental well-being, our inner state, can have a profound impact on our faith. So let's talk about mental health today. Let's break down the stigma and pave the way. For understanding and compassion, for hope and light, for everyone to feel better both day and night. If you are struggling, please know you are not alone. There are people who care, they are a helping phone. Reach out for help, don't be afraid to ask. We are all in this together. We will get through this task. Let's celebrate mental health and all its forms. Let's create a world where everyone's safe from storm. Where we can all thrive and flourish and be our best. Where mental health is nourished and put to the test. Happy World Mental Health Awareness Day to one and all present here. I, Ms. Jyoti Kamble, Assistant Professor, Department of Clinical Psychology, Amity Institute of Behavioral and Allied Sciences, welcome you all on the occasion of World Mental Health Awareness Day. IBAS is organizing a talk on hope, optimism and success, conquering the challenge of student life. Now, I invite Gautam Gandhi sir to give introduction and welcome address.
Thank you, Madam Jyoti. Good afternoon to all of you present here. Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir. Deputy Pro Vice Chancellor, Dehima, sir. Dean IPSC, Dr. Dhaneshwar, sir. Dean Academics, Dr. Charate, sir. Dean Research, Dr. Suprasanna sir, my fellow colleagues, dear students, as a DSW and Director of IBAS, I feel so proud to have one of our well-known speaker, internationally known speaker, Dr. Amresh Srivastav with us today. Dr. Amresh, when I had a telephonic talk with him, he was traveling and during his different visits in different places like Delhi, Lucknow, Ahmedabad, I checked his date and I found that he is available on 10th October, and that's today in Mumbai. And he readily accepted our invitation, and I submitted this proposal of inviting Dr. Amresh to our campus, to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir. And he very readily accepted our proposal to have Dr. Amresh with us today. The topic which is appearing before you on the screen, that itself indicates how important this topic is not only from a student's point of view, but from teachers' point of view also is equally important. When we organize such type of program, IBAS, we call it Department of Psychology, we have certain things in our mind, and Honorable Vice Chancellor always expect us that if anything happens wrong on the campus related to mental health issues, counseling issues, relationship issues, any kind of behavioral issues, Vice Chancellor sir look at IBAS as one of the platform where solution through counseling can be provided. Today, the whole world is celebrating Mental Health Day. On this particular day, as a student of psychology, I look at this as a source, is a possibility for us to develop our own PRI. PRI means Personal Resource Index. And this Personal Resource Index is something which is very important for all of us to know ourselves in a better manner. What is our cognitive ability? We may talk in terms of emotional intelligence, spiritual intelligence, social intelligence, abstract intelligence, concrete intelligence. There are many different types of intelligence. So you can categorize it as our cognitive ability. We are also interested in understanding our own personality factors, our self-concept, our self-perception, our self-esteem. These are all part of our personal resource index. If you have this personal resource index high, self-esteem, self-confidence, level of ability, academic performance, then I think with this high personal resource index, you will be able to cope with any kind of life complexities. With this high personal resource index, you will be able to generate alternatives and possibilities in life. But people, those who have low PRI, there's a possibility that they may not create alternative and possibilities in their life, any kind of life complexities. If they face, they are likely to involve themselves in self-harm behavior, self-destructive behavior. And counseling, and through counseling and training, we always help our students, whether they are psychology students or non-psychology students, who will approach us. We help them to develop their pride so that they will be able to create their own image, they will be able to create their own position in the world of work, because that's another reason why employment, economic factor, relationship issues. Okay, so if any such kind of issues arise, and if you have an adequate pride, I think you will not be able to have any difficulties dealing with any kind of complexities. With this thing in mind, we have kept this program open for all the schools, because Vice Chancellor sir wanted me to keep it inclusive for all schools and teachers, research students, so that we can learn, we can get some tips, guidelines, not only to help ourselves, to help others, our own friend, those who are in need of this kind of counseling or guidance. And you know that all of you have psychologists within you. You try to understand the behavior of others. And if you come across with somebody having some difficulties or facing some difficulties, isolation, anxiety, depression, in such situation, you don't have to counsel them, but at least you can bring them to counseling center where we can provide them an opportunity to get themselves counseled. So with this, I take this opportunity to welcome you all for this very important session which we have organized for all of us. And I'm sure that Dr. Amresh also will give you some chance to have some question answers at the end. Okay, because he has a exposure to international population. And let us see how he deal with Indian population as well as population abroad. So with this, I again welcome you all for this specific occasion. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Now, I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Dr. A.W. Santosh Kumar, to felicitate our resource person, Professor Dr. Amresh Srivastava. Next, it is an honor to have with us Professor Dr. A.W. Santosh Kumar, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Amity University, Mumbai. His leadership has been instrumental in fostering a conducive environment for initiatives related to mental health and well-being within the university. Dr. A.W. Santosh Kumar, our Vice Chancellor, Mumbai, has a total of 35 years in academic and administrative experience. Earlier, he had the post of Vice Chancellor for a period of 4 years in two of the highly ranked universities in India. He worked in the United States in various highly reputed academic institutions for a period of 16 years and held various positions such as Dean Academic Affairs, Dean Accreditation. He completed his PhD from All India Institute of Medical Sciences, AIIMS, New Delhi, and further completed his postdoctoral fellowship from the University of California, USA, National Institute of Health, USA, and J. Brand Mental Institute, USA. Now, I request our Vice Chancellor, Sir, to deliver inaugural address.
Good afternoon, everyone. Respected dignitaries, the Chief Guest Officer, Dr. Amresh ji, the elite academic members of Amity University, Mumbai, deans, directors, HOIs, faculty members of IVAS, Director IVAS, all the students. It's indeed a very great pleasure today that we are all looking forward to celebrating this World Mental Health Day. And we have a adult speaker within us, Dr. Amresh ji, who is a well-renowned adolescent psychiatrist who had an intervention psychiatry of taking lead into many cases of adolescent behavioral problems in India and in abroad. So it is indeed great that today we have with us this elite person where we are looking forward to hearing from him what is the current trend of this kind of an emotional entanglement currently we have in this world, and what is all about emotional quotient, happiness quotient, grounding reality, and many other things that are popping up only during this adolescent age of this college going people. At this outset, I really wish to thank Dr. Amresh ji for taking time in addressing these issues to all our students and faculty members. And I am very happy that I am a part of it. And we are doing this as a process. And if you could see that IBAS of Amity University, Mumbai is taking a lead forward in bringing a sound mental health to our students and the faculty members, so that we make you all as a resilient, important person in the whole world when you go reach them. I wish you all great success, and I'm indeed very happy that I'm a part of it, and I'm looking forward, as you are, for the lecture. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring word. Moving forward, we have a special moment lined up. We'll be releasing a significant publication of book written by our eminent resource person, Dr. Amity University. I welcome on the stage our Dean Student Lecturer, Dr. Gautam Gargi, sir. Now, the highlight of today's program is our eminent resource person, Dr. Amity University. A distinguished psychiatrist from London, Dr. Srivastava will enlighten us on the topic Hope, Optimism and Success, considering the challenges of students' life. This is a subject that holds tremendous relevance in today's world, where young minds face numerous challenges on their journey through higher education. Dr. Amity Srivastava is a professor emerita of psychiatry at the Western University and a scientist of mental health at Lawson Health Research Institute located in London, Ontario, Canada. Born in Northern India, he is currently based in Canada and works in the field of mental health education. He trained from the KEM Hospital. Dr. Srivastava received his postgraduate degree and worked at the University of Mumbai. He worked in Mumbai, London, UK and Canada. He holds a fellowship of the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Canada. He is also a fellow of the American Psychiatric Association. His area of focus includes suicide prevention, early intervention, and complex mental disorder. He has served as an editor, reviewer, and member of the editorial board of Psychiatric Journal and published original research reviews, book chapters, and academic and non-fiction academic books. Most notable among these is the publication of research book series on suicide from the global perspective, schizophrenia treatment outcome, and handbook on optimizing patient care in psychiatry. Non-fiction academic books for people include Mind Matter, The Science of Success, Dard Ka Safar, Kamyabi, The Battle Within, and Handle Life with Care. Now I invite our resource person, Dr. Amity Srivastava, sir.
My dear students present in the audience, Honorable Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, Dean Academic, Dean Research, Professor. It's indeed a great pleasure to be here. Mumbai is a place of Bollywood. सीने में जलन आंखों में तूफान सा क्यों है, इस शहर में हर शख्स परेशान सा क्यों है। Story of mental health begins from सीने में जलन, दिल की धड़कन, छाती में धक-धक। देखिए, these things are not alien. Psychiatry from West is a myth in different language. What we see every day, what we live every day, from morning to evening, the challenges, the roti, kapda, makan, pani, bus, pain, का सफर. People often ask, what will be the answer for psychological problems? And I, after my little bit of experience over the last 40 years, tell them that if you are looking for a solution outside the box of problems, it's not going to happen. The answer is going to come, how do you live with and in company of it? And if you reflect back in your own life, remember any description of a doctor, a counselor, priest, a therapist, whatever. Neither Mumbai has changed, nor the trains, nor the roads. You go outside any school and see colorful buses where mothers come and pick up children. And everybody is in a rush, nobody knows who will be hurt next time. So from hurt, law of torts in forensic psychiatry states that if you are cause of an emotional hurt to anybody, you are likely to be compensated or you are likely to be claimed. So you are driving rash and an 8-year-old is standing on the road. And you are driving in a manner that he faints. And the mother goes to court. Says, he fainted because of your rash driving skills. I am bringing this perspective because today is World Mental Health Day and we have a new theme. And the theme is mental health is a universal right. So what is right? There are two things. When we say right, we are asking something from somebody. Something from somebody. We are not asking from ourselves. When we ask something from ourselves, we say responsibility. We don't say right. So mental health, a universal right. So far people understood and talked about right of patients. Patients to Imam. We are not going to talk about patients. We are talking about people. And thus, this theme has redefined the relationship between you and me and somebody else. What it says that all conditions which are injurious to my mental health may be violative of my human right. And all conditions which are adverse to human right will be either cause or consequence for my mental health. So it's a new relationship. Today's theme is defining a relationship, reminding for a responsibility, as well as bringing a perspective of new mental health risk factor. If we reflect back and if you think, what are the mental health risk factors? We all know that people attempt suicide because of some factor. People develop cardiological problem because of smoking, obesity, and so on and so forth, even because of depression. Depression happens because of socioeconomic hardship, poverty, discrimination, and so on and so forth. And these are the real life heroes for mental illness, are the factors which convert a mental health into a mental illness. And therefore, my dear friends, it's time to celebrate the new relationship of human right to mental health. I'm sure down a few years you will be listening in this context from Supreme Court lawyers that what is this relationship. But this is the beginning. It is a landmark theme which has come today. redefining what mental health is in terms of, so I am responsible for your mental health and you are responsible for my mental health, and somebody who governs this society, who permits manufacturing of tobacco, who permits production of billions of dollars for alcohol, and builds colonies which are contrary to the norms of density and population, and somebody who is responsible for impoverishment, insults, abuse, trauma, neglect, adverse working conditions, examination system, curriculums, they all will be held responsible for human rights violation if this definition has to hold true. And therefore it is a day not only to celebrate, but it is a day for introspection. Me and you together are going to think what it means. It has brought mental health right in the forefront. And I would say, let us remove the term health. And I would say it is questioning mental strength, what I call Manasik Shakti. So let me fix. How do we do this? Okay. So my humble submission and current initiative and commitment is, let there not be a single college without a credible, effective and comprehensive mental health promotion program for students. The issue is, why am I talking about students? Not just because I am in front of you. If you think about studentship, it brings many forces of our life together. For example, learning, intelligence, practice, parenting, teachers, teaching, books, knowledge, information, and above all, the way our brain matures. The way our brain matures. And all the factors which influence maturation of brain. It is because of this versatile and vulnerable situation of a young person between 14, 16, 17, 18, 20 that we need to talk about this age group. And this age group is not only a student but a creator, a future for tomorrow's civilization. If we look at the research data, when people who lived life with schizophrenia and became about 55-year-old, they were asked a question. Tell me, when did you have your first symptom? 75% of people suffering from schizophrenia and bipolar depression said, well, I was 13, 14-year-old then. Same question was repeated to almost all psychiatric disorders. And a landmark study brought two important observations. One, more than 2/3 of mental disorders begin first, we can't say begin, make their first presence felt somewhere during the age of below 17 years. And the second, majority of these people did not receive anything. They remain unidentified. And therefore, it is incumbent to talk about this age group. It is not only the brain which is growing, it is the persona which is growing. It is the person which is growing. They are not growing, they are evolving. their immense potential. Now, social factors, psychological factors, environmental factors, cultural factors, they can make this evolution, transform it or spoil it. They can make it or break it. And therefore I said there are forces around us which are capable of spoiling your mental health. And one has to be mindful. For example, look at the study where a pregnant woman faces an indirect domestic abuse. So, two cousins come home, open the bottle, and start drinking every evening. The husband doesn't drink. When people come to us, what we ask, whether your husband is drinking, is he having addiction? And the wife said, no, everything is fine, no problem. But the fact is that two people are drinking in the same house, in presence of her husband and their father. And after 11 p.m., they start bashing each other. And 27-year-old young pregnant mother is in the corner, sobbing, many times without food. That's life. And if I am, correct me if I am wrong, I will submit any number of epidemiological study. You will find out vitamin deficiency, nutrition deficiency during pregnancy, etc. So think about the child who is taking shape in the womb. If mother is frightened because of social behavior in a house, what do you think must be happening to the fetus? And therefore, I say that mental health is deep rooted in mother. Understand this very carefully. Mental health is deep rooted in mother. 85% of components of good mental health is already constituted by the age of 12. So what is there from day 1 during pregnancy till age 12 is what we call Vatsal, this period of mother-child relationship. Mother-child relationship before birth, during birth, and after. So if you ask me which theory for schizophrenia holds most value, you'll come to know the theory of toxoplasmosis, that is infections, during later part of pregnancy and labor, perhaps has more solid evidence than any other factor. If you study a group of children who were born when mothers suffered from depression, you will see how their personality suffered, what personality traits came up, how intelligence was not that bright, what kind of attitude they developed towards life, and what happened to them. You study postpartum psychosis. Many women develop this problem, and study those children when they grow up. And similarly, study childhood sex abuse. Now people say, doctor, you are talking something, God knows, where is abuse? So I'll cite only one report. Ministry of Women Welfare about 15 years back, maybe more, did a national survey and came up with the finding that incidence of childhood sex abuse in India is no less than 33%. No less than 33%. So 1 out of the 3 children, and now you see what happens to mental health of those children who have been abused. 85% of them, when they are 20 plus, develop one or more psychiatric disorder. This is the influence of social, psychological, economic factor in growth and development of an entity. It is frightening to imagine who is safe, who is not. But I will come back to human rights. You may now redefine why should there be pollution? What will happen to the mental health with climate change? What will happen when bomb bursts in Gaza? The news is published here and everybody is talking negative. An incident. Psychological impact of an incident, then the incident doesn't have to take place next to you. It's imagined, which excites the neurons. Neurons start behaving differently. Neurochemical transmission gets disturbed. And then you develop emotional reaction. And then you develop a thought process. You may start abusing one president against the other president. Otherwise, how will you develop an opinion if you're not affected? Mind doesn't work like that. Everything around us, what is taking place, is shaping our today and tomorrow. So far as well-baked, well-structured personality, persona and character, environment is important. So this is the way I think about the mental health issue of human right, universal human right. Let me come to I repeat, any action, event, situation that may become a mental health risk will be violative of human right of others. And I will give solid scientific evidence for that. As I have quoted few studies. One study was done in India for people who attempted suicide. And the investigators asked these subjects who were treated in the hospital, they tell me, what could have prevented? They said, if my family wanted, they could have prevented. Now what does it tell us? Which family doesn't want? Every family wants the children, the people to be protected. Nobody wants anyone to go and attempt suicide. But people who have attempted, they are saying so. I'm not saying. They are saying in black and white. And we need to understand this, that either they are not telling in the language that you understand, or we are neglectful. So to be neglectful is also a mental health risk. Everybody has been talking about neglect for child. What really it means? When we say neglect for child, we must remember in mental health three factors. One, risk for self. Am I having a situation where I am putting my life at risk? Whether it is taking the pill and swallowing or crossing the highway, saying that okay, that truck will not come, my judgment is correct, I'll cross the highway. Or risk for others. Not that I will kill you. No, that is not the only risk. You might be doing something which will provoke different sentiment in that person. And that person, what our society describes, abatement, a very common term, abatement in suicide. What is abatement in suicide? Causing risk to somebody else. And the third is risk for physical health. So somebody stops eating food, becomes neglectful towards self, and the life story starts deteriorating. So these whenever you think about mental health, think in terms about consequences. Think in terms about risk. You don't have to imagine that no, he has to hallucinate or talk rubbish or talk something which people don't understand or become very angry. Then I will say, okay, there is a symptom and let us find out a general practitioner, go to general practitioner, and then we say, no, you don't need a psychiatrist, and sometimes they will say, yeah, you need a psychiatrist. Don't have to be described by the criteria whether you need a psychiatrist or you don't need a psychiatrist. We all need to follow the criteria for health from risk and protective factors. And ask each other, what can I do to make life of my fellow friend more comfortable? More comfortable. Not only wife and husband has to ask, the friends have to ask. So I give you information. Peer support is well described treatment intervention for suicide behavior in adolescents. Peer support, what is have you thought about it? Yari dosti, peer support. 1,500 papers are being published every year on peer support as I speak today. And as you know, and everybody in academics knows, that hardly 10% papers get published. So what does it mean? At least a lack of researchers are feeling the need to investigate what is Yari dosti. Why is this situation? Why is this situation? It was not peer support, यारी दोस्ती, एक दूसरे का हाथ कैसे पकड़ना, how to live in the hostel, how to share things, how to understand something which has not been spoken, and life moves on. Are things changing so in such a complex manner? Yes, of course, they are changing. Before it becomes worse, we need new language of mental health. And we will need this new language from young generation. The oldest prescriptions for suicide prevention and solving adolescent problem and solving problem of mobile and social media addiction, problem between mother, father and the young boy is not working out. Is not working out, and it will not work out. Because 90% time the people in authority sit with preconceived ideas and judgment and say, Doctor, हम तो वही करते जो ये कहता है. He says, give me this mobile, I give him. He says, you do this for me, I do that, but still there is problem. And you ask the boy, why are you using 20 hours on mobile phone? He says, I don't know, but I will not stop it. Come what may, you can sue whatever. So this change where our young boys and girls are not able to see, they are still in a phase of investigating and exploring this world. Finding out meaning for self, what life means, where to go, where not to go. Some of them have to go in search of food. Their story is different. But probably our first requirement, need for food, is satisfied. Need for identity is becoming very fundamental. Each and every boy, unless he is very focused, is trying to question and searching and suffering what clicks. And let me also tell you, mental health experts do not have a definite answer for it. We do not know, this is a new relationship. And therefore, we will have to stand guided by the young generation. New answer is likely to come only from new generation. They are going to tell us what way to solve their problem. They can do it. They elect the government. They run the country when they become little. So many of them become doctor, engineer, IAS, PCS, and run the system, govern the system. They can. Currently, the entire generation is in transition. And this transition, the value of this transition is becoming very costly for us. And I hope it happens very fast. A word about student-teacher relationship. I think this context is very crucial. We cannot think of a student without reference of a teacher. So when you see these term student, you always have somewhere in the background something like teacher. It may be written very prominently, it may be faded in the background, whatever it is. But it is a relative term. There is no student without a teacher. And there is no teacher without a student. This is a bi-directional relationship. Now what happens is that sometimes one is disappearing or appearing very closely, or is not sure whether how far to go in life of student, is not sure how much to go, how much to advise. When will I be told it's not a business? Don't ask me this question. So even this relationship of teacher and student is being redefined. You see, neurobiologically, we know that different functions of brain grow at different age. And therefore, cognitively, a learning point of view, we need different kind of guidance at different age. So, at some age you need Dronacharya, and at other age you need Lord Krishna. The two are very different. One is a teacher, another is a mentor. And we must recognize that we either teach, preach, guide, or suggest. It should be based upon neurobiological demands and psychological and social demands. There is no point designing curriculums and courses which are not well in sync with the mental development. So, many times people tell me that students are healthy. Why do we need doctors? Why do we need psychologists? Why do we need counselors? Okay? Probably the judgment about our population in schools and institutions and universities is not that correct. Let me put it in perspective. Incidence of DSM evidence psychiatric disorder in India is 70% as per the last survey done by Government of India. Our research studies tell us that about 12% of students at any given point of time suffer from depression. 10% boys, girls carry a suicidal idea in their head. Another 7-8% are stricken with addiction. 10% of them have one or the other physical disability where psychiatric consequences are very common. Many of them, about 3 to 4%, are caretaker of parents who are either chronically medically ill or chronically psychiatrically ill. They carry the burden of care. So is that a population? Is that not a population with special needs? What do we do? Our job is to identify, assess, intervene, prevent, predict, and promote. This is the area where is required to be addressed. Over and above, you have more than 10-15% students who only have one symptom. They may not fit into diagnostic criteria. For example, let us see workplace. You get up early in the morning, on Monday after a weekend you don't feel like coming to work. So that's one, and it's not a small population. If you count, it amounts to 15% of the salary if they don't come on Mondays. And 15% of the salary is good enough for your child's education or less. So more than that, the consequences of absenteeism on stress leave are because of mood variability, mood fluctuation, or hangover, or withdrawal symptom is phenomenal. Let us not underestimate it. Similarly, a syndrome like premenstrual tension. The incidence is very high, 1 in 5. Women do suffer this problem. Before the menstruation, they are tense, they are having difficulty. What I mean to submit that we need to address this issue. You have vulnerable people or people suffering from a psychological distress. That means you are going to have less productivity. The person is going to have more stress and dissatisfaction. And there is a cost involved. So earlier we talked about terms of mental illness, and we will consume mental hospital, psychiatrists, medication, etc., etc. Then we came to know that no, we should think about health because that is equally important. If health is okay, probably we will not develop that. So people started working on preventive strategies. And we came to know that one criteria which is very important is how well you are functioning. So you may be having depression, but if you are functioning well, maybe everything is okay. But if you are having depression and you are not functioning well, then it's a problem. So a 50-year-old person one day, and police senior officer decided to write a resignation letter out of no precipitating fact. He wrote a resignation letter, sent it, and refused to talk to his senior boss and colleagues. Came home, I have given up. I don't want it. You know how difficult it is to engage a police person in any dialogue. They say no means no. Don't want to talk. With great difficulty, 3-4 people, they somehow convinced and told me, doctor, talk to him, okay. It was a clear-cut melancholy depression which he was suffering from, and in that depression he decided to quit his job. Well, we established dialogue with his superiors, and I'm telling you this is a very old story, not nonsense. But this is how level of functioning affects, it comes in forefront. Now from here the story comes, what should be the mental? What are the mental strength? Is coping criteria, resilience criteria? So I say, let us divide our all quality into 2 groups. One group is psychological characteristics. That means our ability to concentrate, our ability to think, ability to regulate our mood, ability to do daily life activity. These are one set of characteristics. Everybody has it. And these are essentials. But there is other kind of characteristic, and I prefer to call it as psychological virtues. For example, you may have a person who does not trust anybody, or you may have a person who has no faith, as against somebody who has a very high degree of faith. So there are people who have things like faith, trust, optimism, happiness, hope, optimism, ability to connect with others, ability to connect with nature, ability to believe there is a God, ability to reject that there is nobody. These characteristics are our psychological virtues. And if you like to read, you may find papers that those people who have psychological virtues, poor, so they don't become sick very often. If they become sick, they suffer less. They spend less number of days in the hospital. They can, if they suffer things like cancer or terminal illnesses, their distress is less. They can very easily accept that they have to say bye-bye to this world. Their level of functioning is very high. Their degree of hope is high. Their level of satisfaction is very high. They aspire, they look for tomorrow. They don't live yesterday. They are able to accept things as they are. They are able to argue and convince you in a positive manner. So this is known as, this area of psychology, psychiatry is called positive psychiatry. You may go back to Gita Gyan, or you may give to Yaneshwari, or you may give to Ramayana. Go anywhere. Things are same. See, this subdivisions of psychology, sociology, philosophy is created by us, are not me, people who were thinkers. Virtually, these are happenings and attitude of life. Whether somebody is thinking about socio-economic problem, or he is talking about general discomfort due to hardship in life, he is not referring to psychology or sociology. He is referring to distress. So these people who have high psychological virtues are able to sustain distress well, function well, and are more happy person. And finally, we all want to succeed, but please remember, what stands between you and your success is your mental health. Is precisely your mental health. You may have Einstein's IQ, ideas, innovations, anything that you aspire from the God, God may give you, but if you do not have a positive mental health, your chances of becoming successful will remain poor. Not only this, those who have become successful, the data suggests that more than 40-50% of them develop a psychiatric problem in 10 years after becoming successful. It is very easy to become successful. It is very difficult to sustain the success. Very difficult. Unless you are mindful of your mental health, unless you are practicing regulating your mind, body and physiology, healthy brain, healthy mind, healthy life. Why? Because where is the seat of, where is mind? All we understand till date that somewhere in the center of our brain lies mind. So if I have to reach and study mind, I have to pass through brain. I do a PT scan and different kind of imaging and various other methodology to bring the deduction that this is what the mind. What we have been missing in scientific literature is the concept of soul, which is a very important aspect of psychology and human behavior. One must think about it, that how soul determines your life. We have not been able to give a correct name to man. चित्त क्या है, मन क्या है, कहता क्या है. We understand mood, we understand affect, we understand disappointment, hurt. So we understand consequences more than causes. So it is all right to remain at the consequence. The consequence will be happy when all students have free access to mental health development facilities, promotions. Quickly about Manasik Shakti is an initiative which we are setting up. We are trying to talk to people. And if you say, what is this? So there are 5 components. 1, every parent must know what is the capacity of the child. As I say, mark sheet bolte nahi. 98% does not tell you how strong, robust personality of somebody. The parents, before they mortgage their house to a bank, must know what I'm doing. Informed decisions are important. So we are developing mental health assessment tools. We believe that mental health education is imperative. Content about mental health should be on the first page of curriculum books of every class. So mental health education. Then mental health training. Who is going to tell us how well trained he is? From the initiative that we started, we conduct webinar every month, either for 1 day or 2 days or 4 days, sometimes teachers training program. On 10th of every month, me, my colleagues are available on Zoom, mansikshakti.org, anybody can log in and have conversation. We are able to provide some logistics based upon our experience and collective thinking, that what should be the structure and function of a school mental health or college mental health program. But let us decide that these are the services. It's like canteen of a college. You need a canteen to go and eat. You need a movie theater in the campus to watch movies, though nobody demands that anymore. Similarly, you need places where you can go and talk, you can resolve the conflict, you can find out, well, I am a graduate student, but I want to play football. It doesn't matter, I have not played it till date, so how to do that? The characteristics which are hidden, it is duty of the institution to blossom that. And if you talk to your friends, you will come to know that more is hidden than is seen. The next is mental health research and innovation, because without what works in Navi Mumbai may not work in Kashmir, what will work in Pondicherry will not work in Peshawar, and we don't have to take lessons from theoretical context only. We have to develop our evidence, our model, our culturally feasible model. Find out methods of communication, treatment, intervention, crisis help, so that you deal with situation in your own cultural methods. And finally, the spiritual health. Spirituality is a reality of life, and now, as everybody would know, that assessment of spirituality is essential for a patient's examination. Like somebody examines how is the heart, how is the blood pressure, ECG, etc. People have to assess what is the level of it. So we have to ask, well, how is it that you have been coping up? You have this arthritis for 4 years. Why did you not come before? That's a different question. But to ask how have you been able to cope up is a novel aspect. Spirituality is a cultural vibrance. It is there in our roots. It has a healing power. Sometimes we should think, what is spiritual intelligence? What is spiritual coping? How to solve problems based upon our spiritual heritage, lessons from spiritual heritage. So I think I have shared what I wanted to, and perhaps deviated from my slides, which I sometimes feel they become intrusive between me and you. And thank you very much. These are some of my thoughts for my young students and institutions. And I hope that things will be better and better. And today is the day of celebration and, as I said, introspection for what is mental health and how is your right going to be secure in presence of so many adverse circumstances. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for a valuable insight. As we near the end of this program, I would like to invite Dr. Arbas Miaji, the DSW Faculty Coordinator, Teaching Assistant, IBAS, to deliver vote of thanks.
Take one or two questions. Yeah, question.
Any questions?
Very happy to respond.
Anyone?
Yes. Yes, go ahead, please.
Very good evening, sir. I am Sri Simran from Ayla. So my question was, today when we see at the academic college campus, it's world class, but the students say we are addicted to this drug or this substance because we have a lot of stress. Do you think this academic stress?
I couldn't really hear the question.
Come this side.
A very good evening, sir. I am a student from Ayla, named Sri Senur. I am currently studying Masters in Social Work. So, once I asked in one academic campus like that, why are you addicted to this substance or this drug? They said, the main problem is we are having a lot of academic stress, so we are abused to take this drug. This gives us comfort and it doesn't affect our mental health because after taking this, we are mostly comfortable. What are your ideas on today's addiction level in the peer groups and colleges?
Yeah, I think you have raised a very important question. Do you drive on a road that you are not familiar with? Do you? Do you go on this scooter on a road from Kacha, Idhar-Udhar? Do you know when you don't know the road? Nobody does it, right? But this is the character of inquisitiveness. There are some people who are enterprising enough to walk on the road they don't know. So you go to a doctor and doctor says take X medication and you say, doctor, what is this? Where will it go? What will it do? But when the same person goes and asks for amphetamine or cannabis or something else, he doesn't even care to look at what it is, except somebody told him it's a mazak. So one is that nature of personality, the character of inquisitiveness, a high need to feel relief from a distress, the attitude for experimentation, the mix of these symptoms drive people to experiment. My suggestion, though it may sometimes works, is education is an important piece. And I will give you an example. I faced this question. We know that there is a direct relationship between cannabis, that is weed, and developing a psychiatric problem. Why? Because it affects the brain growth. So very commonly, the young people, 20 years, 21 years, 17-year-old, they develop depression or psychosis and they take treatment, and I tell them, now don't smoke weed. They say, why? I say, well, it will spoil your brain. He said, doctor, the evidence says only 5% develop psychiatric problem. Why are you telling me to stop it? It is helping me. Well, then I have to tell them that there are 94 types of metabolites in wheat. Do you know which one goes in your body? And if you are so adamant, then at least do one thing, become 25 and then experiment. No, you have to really, you can't nowadays say, don't do it. Nobody is going to accept that. Even I don't accept when somebody tells me. So this is where the issue of mental health education comes. When we know that 50% boys have an inclination to experiment with drugs, why information about drugs are missing from the textbooks? And who is there to tell you? If not your own college, if not your own books, not your own curriculum, who is going to tell you that this is how a drug spoils? So we have no option but to propagate mental health education. और जैसा as I said, जारी दोस्ती हाथ पकड़ो, खुद भी पढ़ो और दूसरों को भी पढ़ाओ. That's the position I would take. If I have my, if you give me, if you empower me to do anything in this, I will flood the gate with mental health education for young adolescents. Once they know what it is, then they can make a choice. And then we will decide who is mentally ill, who is psychiatrically ill, who is not psychiatrically, etc. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for answering my question. I pay my heartfelt gratitude.
No more question?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Good evening.
Yes.
I'm from clinical psychology, and I had this question. So nowadays, on social media, so there are a lot of people who try to give mental health awareness.
Right.
So my concern here is not really that mental health, the awareness regarding mental health is not being propagated. My bigger concern here is that there are people with who have following in millions, and they have no proper mental health degree, or and they are giving education on mental health, which is very misleading, which leaves a lot of people in confusion.
Yeah. I hear your point. The credibility of information is the issue. But let me tell you, social media is like atomic energy. You can make a bomb and you can make energy. Most people are making bomb out of it. No? It's flooded. But yes, the answer to that is, as I said, we need credible resource where you belong to. Your institution must provide credible mental health information so that you can decide what is in social media correct or not correct, etc. Because that is the medium which is uncontrolled. And even those who want to control, we question them. What is your credibility? What is the percentage of marks an examiner has? That kind of issue coming up. So there are unregulated things in the market. It's like all the food on seashore are not good. Some are good. Same as all information on the internet is not good, not authentic. One has to save our children, to save our adolescents from adulterated and incredible information. It is our duty to provide credible, authentic information. And I repeat it. If you go to the website of National Institute of Mental Health, nih.org, everything is given under section of people's resource, and you can really read authentic material and have the answer. I think there is a strong need to develop electronic resource, a website which has credible information for all, and I'm sure there are quite a few can be accessed. But social media is dysregulated totally, and I agree that this is a problem.
I have a follow-up question, if I may.
Yes.
So, sir, it comes to this very important question. So, how should we get people to actually care about their mental health and listen? And because even in this auditorium, I believe there are a lot of people who believe that mental health isn't really that important, and this is something which can be managed.
Yeah.
And it's a myth.
I got your point.
A lot of sorry.
Good. How to maintain good mental health? That's the issue, right?
No, how to make people starting care about their mental health, because I see in my friend circle as well, there are especially boys, they be like, I'm very tough, I don't need to take therapy, or I don't have this particular. Yes.
Therapy is not the answer. Let me be very clear.
Yes.
Therapy let us know. In my house there are many rooms. In one room I have kept some children who are not well. In the other room, I am talking to their parents and their friends. But in rest of my house, there are people from all over. They are normal. There are people, and I talk to them. I talk to them how to live, how to be happy. In order to do that, in order to let them accomplish, I suggest 8 hours sleep, come what may. Healthy food with good nutrition, with culturally knowing how to cook it, with physical exercise on a daily basis, with spending time in dialogue, discourse, and maintaining discipline. Discipline to self and discipline to others. Doing introspection 15 minutes every day, asking yourself who you are, what to do, what not to do. Asking yourself, are you doing whatever you are doing as per your right direction from your heart? Asking yourself to recognize the facts around you and be rational in taking decisions. Telling you how to access help if you are in confusion. And believing in Supreme Master of this world. There is somebody, we don't know who is he, who has created this planet, human beings, earth, and life is going on. Believe in them, believe in yourself. That's my take for good mental health.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for this insightful session.
It's pretty much covered, sir.
Okay. All right, so thank you very much.
So may I?
Okay, yes, go ahead.
Good evening, sir. I just want to add on what Dhruv just right now asked on the issue of dysregulation on social media. I just want to add, I'm not having a question, but what I have seen in the practice and research is that dysregulated social media platform is also an equally good opportunity for the professionals to actually practice the ethic of research and training in education. That there are people, we know that there is a scarcity of mental health professionals, trained and educated professionals.
Yes.
There are people who actually want to help people, but they do not know what to do and how to do it. So instead of just calling out on those people on social media, I know I'm not defending them, but if provided conditions applied that they are ready to learn and go through the process. But if there are people who are ready to go through the process of learning and getting trained and getting qualifications, we can actually help them to know and guide them that, okay, you want to help people in the area of mental health, you want to work in this field, please go and get a qualification, please go and get training, and then propagate and then practice in the field. So that is one thing I think we as professionals also need to address, that only calling out is not sufficient. Calling out, identifying them, and then guiding them ahead is probably would be a long-term solution.
Yeah.
So that is just one point.
I have 2-3 comments to add to what you. See, in your life, what we are told and taught from childhood is one ability is what to do and how to do it. So if you apply the critical thinking mass, and everybody has to apply because that's the process of growth. It is our duty to be able to see what is right in social media and what is not right. The responsibility is on us, not on person who has created. Now that we are helpless to control people who create it, a lot of human rights, civil rights issue, democracy comes in very if you tell them to do anything, you know. So let us now, what we have to, what it shows that we have young people who perhaps need to know more how to solve their inquisitiveness. जिज्ञासा का जवाब कैसे देना? How to solve the inquisitiveness? Is it training? Is it cognitive training in the family, in the school, and amongst your peers? I think The discussion can be very lengthy, but my one line is that we have to train our children how to solve inquisitiveness in a more robust and healthy manner rather than becoming. See, the problem is same with inappropriate sexual behavior, inappropriate drug-seeking behavior, inability to decide, inability to solve problems, inability to resolve conflict, inability to take decisions, etc. So these are the issues of our cognitive development, and I think parents need to take responsibility for spending time with the children and not spending time with the children for this kind of training which is being missing. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, I invite Mr. Arbaz Miaji, DSW Faculty Coordinator, Teaching Assistant IBAS, to deliver vote of thanks.
As we come to the end of this enlightening seminar on hope, optimism and success, conquering the challenges of student life, we express our heartfelt gratitude to all those who have contributed to the success of this event. Thank you, Dr. Amresh Srivastava, sir, for accepting our DSW sir's request to visit our campus and interact with our students. Thank you for sharing your valuable insights and knowledge. Our gratitude extends to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, Professor Dr. T.W. Santosh Kumar, for approving this event. Professor Dr. Gautam Gaudi, sir, we deeply thankful for his dedication and leadership. The success of this event would have not been possible without the hard work and dedication of our admin team led by Sanjay Singh, sir. Thank you, sir. We also extend our heartfelt thanks to event coordinators, Jyoti ma'am, Deburina ma'am, Pradnya ma'am, Abhay sir, Anjali ma'am, for their exceptional efforts in ensuring the smooth flow of this seminar. A special mention to Chetan sir and his team for crafting the informative and visually appealing brochure that has played a significant role in spreading awareness about this event. We are grateful to Team ASCO for their extensive media coverage. Dr. Nima John ma'am, thank you for your support and guidance. A sincere thank you to all the students and faculty from Amity University, Gwalior, Haryana and Noida who have joined us online. A heartfelt thanks to our IT team led by Abhijit sir for providing essential IT support and ensuring the smooth functioning of this event. Heartfelt gratitude to Colonel Sarojit sir and his dedicated team for their support and cooperation. A special thank to Team Snapspot, Omkar sir, Chinmay sir and his student coordinators Brinda, Amay, Yashika for capturing this event. Thank you to all the students volunteers of IBAS, Suchitra, Himani, Madhvi, Afreen, Prasad. Lastly, we extend our gratitude to all the staff members who have contributed their efforts and time to make this seminar a successful event. Thank you all once again.
I request our Vice Chancellor sir and Dean, respected Dean and all HOI for group photo. I request Honorable Vice Chancellor sir, Dean Student Welfare, HOIs and Dean for group photo.